I can't believe we're doing this. I'm dreaming. It's another dream.
We're back.
We're back, baby.
This is us pulling up to Weston State Psychiatric Hospital, better known as Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, on the night of March 8th, 2024. It was the investigation I was most nervous to do. When I visited for a tour back in April of 2023, I had a visceral reaction to the whole experience, as did my companion Ken. Ken and I did no prior research into the facility. All we knew was that it was an abandoned mental asylum and it had a history of hauntings. We had no idea how horrific the history was or how chilling the ghost stories were. We went in as blank slates and came out as different people. We certainly had a difficult time sleeping that night. Throughout this video, we will share why. The state of West Virginia is a ghost hunter's dream. It is chock full of haunted locations. One being Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, which is probably the most haunted of them all. The asylum was constructed between 1858 and 1881, during the Civil War. There were different wings for different categories of patients. It was originally designed to house 250 patients, though at one point in the 1950s, there were more than 2,400. Not only was it overcrowded, conditions were very poor. The asylum was intended to help people, but many components were more than faulty. For instance, the first perfected, and I use that word very loosely, lobotomy was performed here by a man who wasn't even a real surgeon. Many deaths, including violent ones like suicide and murder, occurred within these walls. The building was operational until 1994. It may no longer house patients, but it is home to many lingering souls. Some believe these souls are not at rest and that negative energy has stuck around. Surprisingly, we chose to return to investigate. Perhaps it was our compassion for those with mental illness and for those wrongfully diagnosed or failed by people who were meant to help them. By their standards, I would have probably been admitted into the asylum. Some of the reasons you could be admitted are the following. This night, it was a small group of us, including Kathy Kelly, owner and curator of the Paranormal Museum. We knew she would bring years of experience and trustworthy insights. And we were alone in this massive building for 8 hours straight. Now, real quick, meet the rest of the team. Before embarking on this journey, I consulted with paranormal investigator Adam Berry, whom you may recognize from shows like Ghost Hunters and Kindred Spirits. He investigated Trans Allegheny a few times and told me it is one of the more active places he's visited. In fact, he was present during an episode of Paranormal Lockdown, which comes into play later in this video.
Becca here, she was like, I'm going to Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. She was like, what can I expect? And I was like, well, they know you. Because the last time I was there filming or investigating, they said, hey, Adam. But like, they know who you are. And so that gives me hope as an individual saying, oh, okay, well, if you are in the afterlife and you're still on this earth and on this plane, and you are seeing me and you recognize me, that gives me comfort in a way.
We went into this investigation with the goal of giving these souls a platform and hopefully capturing evidence of the afterlife. Some viewers of mine contributed to the funding of our equipment, and for that I am incredibly grateful. One of the more noteworthy aspects of Trans Allegheny's history is the plan of the building itself, which I will let Ken explain.
So this is the first Kirkbride building. This building was founded by Dorothea Dix back in the 1850s, based on the Kirkbride plan, a more spacious, bat-shaped building that it believed would help improve the care of mental health patients. This was the original Kirkbride building. After this one was built, they started popping up across the country, especially after Kirkbride became the head of what was a predecessor to the American Psychiatric Association. Over 60 of these buildings were built. They include Trans Allegheny to be just one of them. The hospital in Oregon that they use in Cuckoo's Nest, most have been demolished or turned into museums such as Trans Allegheny. This is the oldest one that's still in continuous operation. Yes, this building is still in operation. Scary enough. not specifically this part, but another part of it. Dorothea Dix actually passed away in this building. In her retirement years, she was granted a suite within here to live out the rest of her days, and this building is also considered to be the most haunted building in New Jersey.
You excited, Ken?
I'm very excited.
On the way.
This was possible.
Yo.
Oh, this looks. It's this big.
I have footage from the entire night, multiple cameras rolling for hours and hours. It took me days to comb through. So to spare you of this, I've cut out many mundane moments and highlighted what we found most interesting. Though it is important to know that with every interesting moment comes hours of work and waiting, which is worthwhile in the end. Now join us for our biggest investigation to date. Just by watching, you are part of the investigation. Look and listen closely, for you may catch something we may have missed. I wasn't joking when I mentioned having many pieces of equipment to document everything. We had a POV cam. Look at this. Look at this fashion statement. A 2-hour live stream. And 5 separate static cameras rolling throughout the night. One of which caught a mouse. It is 11:53 p.m. You will see we split into separate groups and come together at some points throughout the night too. Alright, what's happening?
Hey guys. You guys want a cigarette? We know you guys technically aren't supposed to have any, but
We got you some.
we did bring you a couple. Can you guys give us a yes? I'll leave it right here. In case anybody wants one, you're more than welcome.
Last year, Ken had captured on camera what he believes to be a light anomaly. This trip, he tried to recreate the photo from the same angle, but the anomaly did not show up. We are not claiming this to be paranormal in nature, we just find it interesting. Before I get into what we captured here, I need your opinion. It may be a trick of the light, but to me it looks like door hinges or a metal lock moving on its own. What do you think? What happened in this hallway, Ken? Alright, so everybody. 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 I cross-checked with the live stream footage, and unfortunately that part is just out of frame. What happened in this hallway, Ken? Alright, so everybody. Murders have occurred in this building, and especially this hallway. So there was a double suicide in this room. Did it say Kathy? Is there anyone in here? Can you say your names? Oh, sorry, an EMF detector on right now. We are currently in a bathroom where a murder took place. Just a gruesome murder took place in this bathroom. The person it happened to dragged himself out across this floor and down the hallway where this arrow's going. Last year, this hallway is where Ken saw what looked like a shadow figure crawling across the floor. This was before we knew the story of what happened here. Alright, the spirit box is coming out, so nobody gets scared. I know it might take a lot of energy. We're just here to listen. We want to hang out. So I'm going to turn this on, and if there's anything you want to say, now would be the time to say it. This is room number 403. I've included words and phrases I can hear, but do you hear anything we may have missed?
Can you tell us what room? Oh, wait, it's announced it.
Sure.
What room am I in?
No, not 6.
I think we should go to the section we've never gone to.
Okay. Do you want to go to the lobotomy section?
Talk about it.
Alright, let's place that there too, I think. Maybe, unless there was somewhere else you were thinking. A few strange things happened in this next moment. Raise your volume and your brightness. Between my POV camera, live stream, and static cam, I captured it from 3 different angles. First, we capture an EVP, a whisper in direct response to Ken. The audio you're hearing is from the POV cam. Alright. So who else is in this? Who else is watching right now besides Sam and Andrew?
Also, guys, anybody who's going to be heading to a different section now? If you guys want to say anything, there's a camera down there. Feel free to talk to it. Down there. Feel free to talk to it.
The live stream captured it also, but it wasn't as loud.
Camera down there. Feel free to talk to it.
As I watched back through the live stream, I then came across this. What does it look like to you? It may just be camera artifacting, but it really does look like a figure. What do you think? Now Ken will share with you a condensed version of the story that gave me chills upon hearing it for the first time last year. Listen closely.
There's a little kid on a clothing bag. Store park. It's over here. The little boy starts wandering off over here. And finds him at the store back here. The little boy tells tour guide and the parent who goes, oh yeah, there's a guy over here that told me to open this door. You know, he wanted to play with me. I don't know if you heard earlier, there used to be a piece of the building behind here, but as soon as you open this, it's a dead drop. Dr. Walter Freeman was the inventor of the modern, quote-unquote, modern lobotomy. Dr. Freeman's residency was here in West Virginia at Trans Allegheny. Somehow he was able to sell this invention to all these places around the country. But this was his main hospital. It had a death rate of, we were told, about 14%. And most of the people who went through it were vegetables at the end.
So they said that this is, over here this way was the art room, and it was one of the better spots of the patients.
And one of the patients made this.
Yes, man-made. They said there is more down this way that's all made by the patients here, but followed by this happier area is right next to the darkest area.
Ew, that drawer gives me trypophobia. Lobotomy recovery. You could leave that down here, Ken. Oh, the music box. I can put the music box there and it'll play. So it shoots out a beam, and if something moves through that beam, it'll start playing music. If anyone is here, can you walk past that chair? Today doesn't feel as energetic as it did the last time I was here. I think we should just leave it in here. Huh? Hello? Liv and Lordy get spooked in 3, 2, 1. Not once, but twice.
Twice.
There was a music video shot here, and in the background of the music video, this face popped up. That was not a person that was here with them. This is where they saw the face that I just showed you guys before.
What time is it?
1:24. This is the hallway where Paranormal Lockdown captured the infamous footage of what they call the creeper.
There goes, oh my God.
Whoa.
It just it slithers.
Which to me looks like a person in agony crawling across the floor. an image that sends shivers down my spine. And Kathy was getting things crawling on her SOS.
I am already caught SOS images of something very low moving across the bottom.
I personally had several experiences on the 4th floor. I was investigating by myself. There was certainly times when I did feel as if someone was walking behind me, where I would hear a stutter step behind me. The place is massive and it is in an advanced state of disrepair in certain places. In other places, it's phenomenally well maintained. But in the places where I was, there wasn't a big echo. The other thing that I noticed a lot was a lot of shadow figures, and they did tend to be by doors or through doorways. And that becomes very, very difficult to authenticate when you're talking about video, because the shadow work of doors and movement and things like that lends itself to appearing like shadows.
And then I think this is emitting a light, and this is reflective whether you think it is or not. See, look, like you have to throw that out. Right? Because it's consistently there.
So you kind of tend to throw those things out. But there were one or two things that I definitely saw that I found very, very compelling.
But the floor, I picked stuff up on the floor that doesn't seem to have been the same thing.
Earlier in the night, Ken took a photo facing down the other end of the creeper hallway and captured an image of something that looks pretty similar to the creeper, which I will show you shortly. Typically, I would have written it off as a smudge, but just wait. Now, at this point in the night, he retook the photo from the same angle, and whatever we saw in that first photo was not present in the second photo. Take a look for yourself and tell us your thoughts. Here's the photo he just took. And here is the photo from earlier in the night. Now, most of the group reunites for a portal session.
I have a friend that's been here many times. His name is Adam. And he told me to come up here and talk to you guys because he said that you need to be heard and that your story needs to be told. And I agree with him. And we want to know what you have to say. I can't imagine what it was like for you to be here, and I can't imagine what it's like for you to be here now. But we would love to talk to you. We want to hear your story. So what we're going to listen for, guys, is like everything else in this subject matter, it's a bit mediumistic and it's a bit interpretive, okay? So we're going to listen for words that's bolo, that kind of staticky sounds. You can use this device to communicate with us. Can you tell me if you're here? Can you say hello?
I've never seen a security.
Can you repeat that? Did you say that you were seen? It feels very quiet to me here.
We decided to investigate the general admission unit, the place where I had my own experience last year. There's one hallway that I walked in and I just got the feeling I was going to cry. And I didn't know why. I brushed it off. I thought, oh, maybe the stories are just really scary. But then our tour guide asks everyone if people get a certain feeling here. And my friend, who is a man, and some other men in the group said they felt unwelcome or scared. And I was kind of embarrassed to share that I felt like I was going to cry. And then the tour guide says, this is the hallway where women who were not mentally ill were just admitted because their husbands were just like, take her, I don't want her. And guests that enter this hallway, men, will often feel unwelcome, and women will feel the urge to cry.
I'm just wondering if Spirit wanted to sit in the chair. All right. Were you able to see your children? Were they able to visit you?
I would imagine a lot of the women that were put here for hysteria. So these would have been women probably who postpartum, depression, you know,
Who just
opinionated,
yeah.
mouthy.
Mouthy did.
Yeah.
Conform to men's expectations.
Becca wanted to come down here because she felt that the women here would have had a lot to say because they didn't get listened to. We also heard
Right.
that was right. Is it upsetting to you that there are men here? It's a female.
That's what I have it too.
Female. This is the female wing, we know that. Is it okay that these gentlemen are here to visit because they really would just like to hear what you have to say? I would have been so pissed if I were here. Like, I'm pissed that I'm free. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm pissed off about like the people who I know currently are going through the experiences in places like this.
right?
Well, modernized versions of what it was like. I can't imagine.
Remember though, this was here in '94, so like, we still had, but I thought it was interesting when he said that the first 9 patients were women, and you know that they were put in there because
They
they were uppity.
They were uppity. They didn't want to listen to the.
I think we're getting results when we're having a conversation and they're joining in, right? It does look like they had like events and stuff that look like fun, you know? But I wonder if like the day-to-day, was it very boring or were there activities? And like, did some people actually get the treatment that they needed? Like, we have a tendency to look at these places as if they were all bad, but they were started with the intention of healing.
I actually think the majority of people would actually have been good, are good, were good.
Wow.
Did you hear what that said?
That's a lie.
No, to me it said there were a lot. These, you know, these walls are decrepit, they're falling down. We associate mental health treatment as having been very, very negative, you know, and very abusive. But I think you're probably right. I think there probably were very close friendships and relationships that developed, but there were probably instances of, you know, abuse of power and, you know, like he said, somebody ran this. You know, depression was not seen as a clinical ailment. It was seen as a weakness of mind, you know, and when they sought to treat it, they didn't really even seek to treat the symptoms of it. They sought to treat the perception of it, because you being depressed was annoying to your husband.
But even a woman who may not have been depressed, but also didn't want to conform to what the expectations were.
And especially if they were, you know, suicidal, or they needed to be someplace where they were going to be cared for. But sometimes that was just code for removing the autonomy of someone.
I believe this portion of the night, our Estus method session, is where we experienced the most activity and communication. Have a listen.
When we were in larger groups, you did feel as if there were people who were kind of joining in. So I think that in a place as large as Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, the way you investigate is going to have a direct impact on the evidence that you do get.
All right, put your headphones on. Can you hear us? Are you stuck in this place, or do you move freely and just come back here because you visit? How many of you are here?
In the ditch.
Is that car in the ditch? Is that what we're hearing?
In the ditch could also be reference to the unmarked graves on the property. Are we speaking with a previous patient buried nearby?
What were you passionate about? Military.
Did you serve? Didn't he say this was built for the Civil War, like prior to the Civil War, but it was a portion of it was built for the Civil War?
One room when it was first built was used as a resource for medics for
The Civil War.
the Union.
Oh, that's right. It's West Virginia.
Was your husband in the military?
Oh, she might have been in the military too.
She could have.
And
But you asked that
You're
one.
making the presumption that it is a female. Just because we're in a place where the females were kept doesn't mean that all the spirits here will be female.
Sure.
But I know we will.
Her age. Can you tell us her age? I don't even know who I'm talking to.
So I said her age, so it could be someone talking about. But this really could be someone talking about something there.
I'm starting to get tired.
I hear that.
We're getting rid of you. Oh. Not like that.
She said we're getting rid of you.
You got us for 2 more hours.
What can we do in these 2 hours?
Do you not like us here? Use the back door. We'll leave, but we're gonna leave in 2 hours.
While we're here, how can we make you feel more heard?
Where the heck did Ken go?
We got anything?
It told us, I don't think it likes us here. It told us to leave and use the back door.
She said we're getting rid of you.
Yeah, that's there he goes. Yeah, Ken came back. We're here. She said we're here. Who's here? This weekend.
What do you do on the weekends?
Recording.
What do you record? Do you like to sing? What about dancing?
Here's something I noticed in post. The audio you hear throughout this whole session is from my EVP recorder because I felt it was more clear. But listen to what happens when I turn up the camera's audio after Jason asks about singing.
Do you like to sing? What about dancing?
Do you hear the faint humming? It's fascinating that it only appears on the camera's audio and not on the recorder.
I guess that was for
Moving memories.
What did you say?
Moving memories.
You're annoying. Do you think Charlotte over here is annoying, or Kathy is annoying, or all of us? Who's annoying? He's annoying. That narrows it down. Is Ken annoying? Charlotte, do you hear us?
Oh, but think about that.
How do you cope when you're annoyed?
You got 2 annoyings from that.
You don't like us here, do you? Disdain. Beep, beep. Beep, beep.
I wonder if maybe like something they used here or something.
Oh yeah, machine that beeped. Charlotte looks beep, beep, distraught. I think there's something here. I think something's finally on the channel. Okay. This is where baby. Was someone born here?
Beep,
Beep,
could
beep.
Be a heartbeat
Beep, beep.
reminder.
I keep hearing like the same. It wasn't doing that before. It's like messing with me.
But is it a voice saying beep beep, or is it?
No, it's like making car horns, like, but it's like doing it constantly. It's like messing with me. Can one of us switch so I'm not like biased toward it? Cause do you know that we drove here by car to come see you? About an hour from us. Or about an hour for us.
Is that where your home was?
Well, not longer than an hour.
Can you tell us your name? This. Do you have a name? We'll be out of there. Where are you right now? Christopher.
How do you know Christopher?
It does or it doesn't. Truth is.
Are you Christopher? Is Christopher you?
Okay, so.
Are you and Christopher connected?
I'm heavier. Is this someone you know? What you're doing again with? Or is it someone from here? It kept. Eyes.
Was there a
Dr. Mike? Dr. something?
She did say the name Christopher.
Form man?
Is Christopher the foreman?
We're in a deep or we're energy. Is Christopher your name? I think I heard you're annoying again, Charlotte. I heard you're annoying. I'm sorry. I don't mean to annoy you. What are we sitting in? Military. Oh, that was something.
How are you connected to the military?
Wait. Therapy.
Did something bad happen in the military?
Roundup? Oh. I heard like, it sounded like a distressed woman, but it was so brief.
I noticed some reoccurring themes during our Estus method. Music, cars, military, a name or two. We also got called annoying a lot. I think it was because the focus was so much on questions, and we didn't realize the spirits were continuing a conversation. I find it interesting how active the building was during our first visit. This time felt more subdued, which in ways validates my first experiences more. It tells me what I felt was real. I think I was over-prepared. I was so focused on capturing tangible evidence, I was not valuing the evidence that is personal experiences. I think the reason Ken and I witnessed so much activity during our tour last year is because we were not seeking it out. I'm proud of us for conquering a fear, entering this building again, and even going so far as to stay a whole night. I feel like now we can take on any haunting. Though in the future, we will put more emphasis on listening and observing.
What I found really intriguing and very compelling about the investigation at the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum is that we did have activity. It didn't necessarily translate into recordings or evidence, but there were lots of personal experiences. And I think it's really important to remember that we as investigators become part of the investigation. we not only bring in our own energy, but we act as a catalyst for activity. One of the things that I want to say was I was really grateful to be invited to participate in this investigation. I thought Becca and her team did a phenomenal job. I thought they were great investigators, and I thought the setup was phenomenal, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be there.
If you made it this far, thank you. There are deleted scenes, bloopers, and the full live stream linked below. Stay tuned because our next overnight investigation will be the Lizzie Borden house this June. We are so excited to return to the most active place we've ever been.
There's Rachel with y'all.
You heard I wish? I heard a witch.
Sandwich.
Oh, Becca, that's you.